Hey kids, hey, it's Josh again, and once again it is another ridiculous episode of the Bible, and this is an atheist point of view. As you know, I am reading it from cover to cover. I'm still in Genesis 40, and as you all know, I don't take this thing serious. I think it's literally filled with fucking jokes. I usually make them up along the way, and this is more or less just a reference manual, you know, so we can call all the fundies and the nutballs out there, the Christians, on their ridiculous bullshit. So, before I even go on, alright, I love my bumping music. Where I left off, we are at Genesis chapter 41, the Pharaoh's dreams. Now, first one, when 2 full years have passed, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river there came up 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed upon the reeds. Okay, sure, why not? Man, what the fuck do these fuckers eat before they go to bed? I give them these fucked up dreams. Alright, verse 3, after them, 7 other cows, ugly and gaunt. God, I can never smoke enough. Ugly and gaunt came up out of the Nile and stood beside those on the riverbank. And the cows that were ugly and gaunt ate up the 7 sleek fat cows. Damn, gives a whole new meaning to mad cow disease. Then Pharaoh woke up. Holy shit, cows eating cows out of the river, what the fuck? Verse 5, he fell asleep again and had a second dream. 7 heads of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads of grain sprouted, thin and scorched by the east wind. Not the west, not the north, not the south, but the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy, full heads, and Pharaoh woke up. It had been a dream. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Alright, verse 8, in the morning his mind was troubled, so he sent for all the magicians and wise men of Egypt. Pharaoh told them his dreams, but no one could interpret them for him. Well, pardon me. Well, I am a snot-nosed brat. Ask me if I fucking care. Alright, in the morning his mind was troubled, so he sent for all the... Okay, we read that. Verse 9, then the chief cupbearer... There's a chief cupbearer. He's got cupbearers under him. They get smaller cups. Said to Pharaoh, today I am reminded of my shortcomings. Verse 10, Pharaoh was once angry with his servants, and he imprisoned me, and the chief baker in the house of the captain of the guard. Each of us had a dream the same night, and each dream had a meaning of its own. Verse 12, now a young Hebrew was there with us, a servant of the captain of the guard. Captain of the guard. We told him our dreams, and he interpreted them for us, giving each man the interpretation of his dream. And these turned out exactly as he interpreted them, just to us. And things turned out exactly as he interpreted them to us. I was restored to my position, and the other man was hanged. Fuck. Of course. Dude, he wasn't literally had been eaten to death by birds. No, of course not. Alright, verse 14. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon. The dungeon. When he had shaved and changed his clothes, he came before Pharaoh. How exactly do you think they shaved back then? I mean, I don't think gillettes were available yet. Big old butcher knife. Oh! That'd be rough. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I had a dream and no one can interpret it. But I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. Verse 16, I cannot do it, Joseph replied to Pharaoh, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. Because he's right there in the room, isn't he? Christ on a crutch. Verse 17, then Pharaoh said to Joseph, in my dream I was standing on the bank of the Nile, when out of the river there came up 7 cows, fat and sleek, and they grazed upon the reeds. After them 7 other cows came up, scrawny, is that even a word? Scrawny and very ugly and lean. I had never seen such ugly cows in all the land of Egypt. And in comparison to good-looking cows, Whatever. The lean, ugly cows ate the 7 fat cows that came up first, but even after they ate them, no one could tell that they had done so. They looked just as ugly as before. Then I woke up. Verse 22. In my dreams, it's still the same. Your love is strong and still remains. No? Alright. Okay. Yeah, I know. Dawkins. Yeah, fuck, I've heard it all. In my dreams, I also saw 7 heads of grain, full and good, growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads sprouted withered and thin and scorched by the east wind. Verse 24, the thin man of grain swallowed up the 7 good heads, because that makes sense. I told this to the magicians, but none could explain it to me. The magicians, what are they? Busy! Busy! Are you illiterate? Read the fucking sign! Recording, go away! Sorry. Verse 25. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dreams of the Pharaoh are one and the same. God had revealed to Pharaoh what he was about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. It is one and the same dream. Yeah, because God's right there in the room, fucking telling them all this shit, you know, through Joseph. Whatever. The 7 lean ugly cows that came up afterwards are 7 years, and so are the 7 worthless heads of grain scorched by the east wind. They are 7 years of famine. Of course they are. Alright, well, let's see. Verse 28. It is just as I said to Pharaoh. God hath shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt, but 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all the abundance in Egypt will be forgotten, and the famine will ravage the land. Ravage! The abundance in the land will not be remembered because the famine that follows it will be so severe. Well, shit happens, right? The reason for the dream was given to Pharaoh in 2 forms is that the matter has been firmly decided to God, and God will do it soon. You're all fucked soon. And now let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man and put him in charge of the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh appoint commissioners over the land to take a fifth of the harvest of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. They should collect all the food of these good years that are coming and store it up in the grain under the authority of the Pharaoh to be kept in the cities for food. Well, alrighty then. This food should be held in reserve for the country and to be used during the 7 years of famine that will come upon Egypt, so that the country may not be ruined by all the famine. Man, come on, give me something I can work with. There's no material here. Alright, next one, verse 37. The plan seemed good to Pharaoh and to all his officials. So Pharaoh asked him, can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God? Well, fuck, he's right there in the room. I can't just God tell him. Verse 39, then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as to you, as wise as you. He shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne I will be greater than you. Well, alrighty then. Okay, next paraphrase. Joseph in charge of Egypt. Wow. Goes from being the warden to in charge of all fucking Egypt. Well, except for the Pharaoh, of course. Verse 41, so Pharaoh said to Joseph, I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh took his signet ring from his finger and put it on Joseph's finger. Alrighty then, they're engaged. Wonderful. He dressed him in robes of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. He's got some bling, bling, baby. Bling, motherfucking bling. And verse 43, he had him ride in a chariot as his second in command, and men shouted before him, make way! Get the fuck out of my way, bitches. Thus he put him in charge of the whole land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I am Pharaoh, but without your word no one will lift a hand or foot in all of Egypt. Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zaphenath-Paneah, because he wasn't too creative, or was overly creative, and that's the fucking best name he'd give him. Couldn't just keep calling him Joseph for some reason. But anyway, and he gave him the Asenath, daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. Not the priest of Off, priest of On. What a name. To be his wife. And Joseph went throughout the land of Egypt. Verse 46, Joseph was 30 years old when he had entered the service of the Pharaoh king of Egypt, and Joseph went out from Pharaoh's presence and traveled throughout the Egypt. During 7 years of abundance, the land produced plentifully. Joseph collected all the food produced in those 7 years of abundance in Egypt and stored it in the cities. Well, fucking it. In each city, he put the food grown in the fields surrounding it. Joseph stored up huge quantities of grain, like the sand of the sea. I'm bored too. Yeah, it was so much that he stopped keeping records because it was beyond measure. Well, motherfucker. These were the years of famine came. 2 sons were born to Joseph by Asenath, daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, not Off. Boring. Okay, Joseph named his firstborn Manasseh and said, "It is because God has made me forget all my trouble and all my father's household." The second son he named Abram and said, "It is because God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering." Suffering! 53 of the 7 years of abundance in Egypt came to an end, and then the 7 years of famine began, just as Joseph said. There was famine in all the other lands, but in the whole land of Egypt there was food. Food! There was Mickey D's, there was 7-Eleven, fucking there was food for less, and there was food for more. When all Egypt began to feel the famine, people cried to Pharaoh for food. Then Pharaoh told all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph and do what he tells you to." Do what he tells you. Verse 56, when the famine had spread over the whole country, Joseph opened the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe throughout Egypt, and all the countries came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph because the famine was severe in all the world. Yeah, the whole fucking world. Sure it was. Yeah, because you... Bullshit. Fucking dumb. Oh well, sorry it wasn't as funny and entertaining as I expected, but once again, this has been Josh, and this is an Atheist Point of View.